Hey, and welcome to Girl Be Free, a podcast designed to help women get unstuck and cultivate the life you want on your terms. I'm Siobhan, your host, and I'm passionate about empowering women to live their best life. Each week, you'll hear pep talks that will inspire and push you to take action so you too can start to be free and live the life you want. You can learn more about me at BeFreeProject.com. Now let's jump into the show. Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Girl Be Free podcast. As always, thank you so much for tuning in with me for another week. All right, so what I am loving this week is my friend Sable from Real Brown Girls. She is in the process of raising money for a scholarship and award fundraiser to help 10 students go to summer camp this year. And the fundraiser is for $25,000, and I've already donated and supported her campaign. And so I'm loving that she's doing something like this because I understand, like, in the summertime, that is when kids need to be active and doing things. And so because she's, hosting this fundraiser under her business, Real Brown Girls, I think it's an amazing thing. So I am loving that this week, and I'm going to drop the link in the show notes where you guys can show support as well, and you can donate a small minimum amount to help her reach her goal. And again, she's trying to raise $25,000. I'm not so sure about the deadline, but again, the link will be in the show notes so you can take a look at it. Any support, I know she will greatly appreciate it. Also, what I am loving this week is shout out to Rondi. She donated to the podcast last week. So if you remember, on the most recent episode, I shared how I am trying to save money to buy a podcast, to buy a mic. So currently I am using my earbuds, but I definitely want to upgrade and have like not a fancy mic, but a podcast mic. And so I asked for donations. And so thank you, Rondi, for donating. And I totally appreciate that. And it's not up, right? So I will leave the link in the show notes for you to donate to the podcast. And basically, if what I am sharing you appreciate, or you like, girl, I want to support you and all that jazz, you can donate a minimal amount, whatever you choose or whatever. Anything that you share would, again, be appreciated by myself. And thank you in advance. Lastly, on the most recent episode of the podcast, we talked about how to create a quality life. And I believe I mentioned on there how I was writing a blog post to give you even more ideas on how to have a quality life that feels good to you inside and out. So I did write a blog post, and it gives you 20 practical things that you can start to put in place. So I'm going to drop the link for that blog post in the show notes for you to check it out. Definitely bookmark it so that way you can go back and check it out at any given time. So that's what I'm loving this week. So on to today's topic, which is what's in your toolkit. So this week, actually it was late last week, I was having a conversation with a friend, and we were talking about how 2018 has had us in a mixed bag of emotions. And what we thought the year was going to start off being has been something totally different. And so my friend has shared how she has just been in a funk, and just everything seems like it's spiraling out of control. And so I asked her the question. I said, well, what do you do to get yourself out of a funk? Like, what do you have in place so that when you're getting into that negative space, what do you do to get out of it? And she was like, girlfriend's time. Like, she really enjoys spending time with her girlfriends and just laughing, having great conversation. And that really is a mood booster for her, right? And so as we were continuing to have the conversation, I was like, wow, I'm going to talk about this on the podcast because I want to know, like, what do other people have in their toolkit? Like, what do you have in place so that when you notice yourself getting into like a negative headspace or in a funk or feeling like blah, like, what do you have in place so that you don't spiral down and just get stuck in like this negative headspace, right? And so I'm going to share first some of the things that I have put in place. I'm also going to share with you what some ladies have shared with me on Instagram of what they do. And then I'm going to share a few more as well. And so really this is designed to kind of help you have something that is tangible, that you can say, okay, when I get to this space, this is some of the things that I need to do. So for me, most recently, I have been having mini pep talks. So I think I've shared on the podcast before, like the beginning of this year has been rough for me. There's just been a lot of different things going on, and I have had to give myself a pep talk. So when I notice like my emotions like getting really high, or I feel like, you just know how you feel when you're about to get into that space. I've had to say out loud, like, Siobhan, we are not doing that today. You are not going to that space. You don't have time for it. So you need to get yourself together, and I will be good. And then if I feel it coming on again, I'll again have that dialogue with myself. Like, no, we're not doing that. Like, you are not going there. This is why. These are all the reasons why you're awesome and you're amazing. You're doing X, Y, and Z. This is how much you've grown. You are not getting to that place. So we're not doing that. So get yourself together. And y'all, that has been working. And when I have these mini pep talks with myself, I'm like, it's almost like my conscious tells my subconscious, like, nope, we're not going there. We're not doing that today. And it obeys and it listens. And then I keep on pushing. Some of the other things that I have in place is I told you guys that I started taking yoga a few days a week. So that has been really helpful. And so there's an online YouTube channel that I like called Yoga by Adrian. And then I also take classes outside the home with Daybreak Yoga. So yoga has really been helping me to kind of stay centered. And I have loved seeing how my body is maneuvering and getting through these difficult poses, but I'm trying. So that has been helpful. Also, I have meditated every day. As of today, I think about 65 days straight. So the meditation has helped a lot because it's helping me to be more mindful, and then partnering that with the yoga has been really good. Another thing that I have been doing is being mindful of my thoughts. And then whenever I notice like negative thoughts starting to come in, I recite affirmations. And so y'all know that I have a deck of affirmation cards that I use myself. And so I will use my cards. I also have affirmations in my phone. I carry a journal with affirmations, and I'll just start reading affirmations or quotes to feed my mind something positive. Also, I burn sage, so whenever I feel like there's negative energy in my home, or just maybe conversations that I've had with other people that weren't good for my spirit or something like that, I burn sage. And I get my sage from my friend Denise. Her website is the Positive Life Haven. But yes, I started burning sage. I also this past weekend bought some Palo Santo. I hope I'm saying it correctly. So I have different things, and incense too, that I burn to and I also have a diffuser with essential oils. So putting that on helps me get to like a positive space. And another thing is I started collecting crystals and stones about a year ago. And I now have a nice collection that, depending on the mood that I'm in or what I need to gain, I will start holding like a certain crystal. And again, if you want to know more about crystals and sage, definitely check out my friend Denise's page or her website, which is positivelifehaven.com. Also, y'all know I love music, so I will turn on some trap music or something ratchet, or just some rap music, or any playlist really that's going to make me feel good in that moment. I have really been vibing to the Black Panther soundtrack, and I believe I said that on the last episode. That soundtrack is so good, and I've been listening to it multiple times per week just because I just love like the music. It's really, really good. So those are some of the things that I do as it relates to what I have in my toolkit. And then also girlfriend's time. So I don't know if I shared this, but I can relate to my best friend when she said how some of the things that she does is like spend times with her, with girlfriends. And I think that energy is so important, just to be around other women who are on the same wavelength, where you can have inspiring conversations that's going to feed you. Last week, I had so many conversations that fed my soul to its core. and it felt so good. And I felt so full with just inspiring conversations from different groups of women. And it's the very reason that I have the BeFree meetups and the BeFree Life class, but more so the BeFree meetups, because it's a space where I've told you I gather women together to have conversations that they're not having on a day-to-day basis. And we all need to be surrounded by positive women. There is nothing like being around a group of women who are supportive, encouraging, motivating, and that will feed you, that will feed your spirit. So if you don't have women like that, it's okay. You definitely need to come to the Be Free meetup. And side note, the upcoming one is this coming up actually on March 16th. So I will drop the link in the show notes for you to check that out. But again, I've created a space like that because I know what it means to be around women who are in a similar mindset as me, and that we can just have that energy flowing and have good conversations that will fill me up until we, meet again or whatever. So that has been really helpful. And let me also share with you some things that you can put in place, so that I want you to think about what you can add to your toolkit. And I created a worksheet for you that when you go to the show notes, it's a downloadable, printable worksheet that you can print out. And I want you to write down everything that you're going to put in place, or that you're going to put in your toolkit. So I'm actually jumping ahead because that's going to be your action step, but it just came to mind. So yes, I did create a printable worksheet for you that you can download. So some of the things that you can think about when it comes to what you should put in your toolkit: find something funny. So I have been watching The Office on Netflix, and y'all, if y'all haven't watched The Office, y'all need to. I watched it when it was on when it was on NBC or whatever. But most recently, I started watching episodes on Netflix, and I have been cracking up. So that's something that you can put in your toolkit, is to find something funny. Also, make you a playlist that will boost your mood. So who are your favorite artists? And then make a playlist so whenever you get into a funk, you put it on and it will get you back together. So I have a playlist called Dopamine, and I have some of my favorite, I think it's pretty much in that playlist. It's all like rap music or whatever, but it's definitely a mood booster, and I love putting it on because the beats and all that just really gets me going. Next, something that you can add to your toolkit is to call a friend. Again, like I was saying earlier, there's nothing like having conversations with friends and just someone that can encourage you and just bring some light into your day. Read affirmations. So I talk about affirmations all the time. I'm a stickler to that. So whether you Google affirmations, whether you buy the Girl Be Free affirmation card deck, which I'll drop the link in the show notes, whatever, just find some positive statements or positive quotes that you can recite that will feed your spirit. And then next, make a happy list. So create a list of all the things that make you happy and bring you joy. And then you can start to pull things off that list and incorporate in your day to day whenever you need to pull something from your toolkit. So I don't know if I shared this here, but some of the things that make me happy is sunshine. I realized this the other day, like I talk about my purpose is to be a light and empower others to be free, right? I need light, like I need sunshine. I need that vitamin D. And if I don't have it, my mood goes down quickly. And I think like the last 2 weeks, well, actually the last couple of days have been like sunny here in Cleveland, but prior to that, it has been so gloomy, so cold, so rainy, and it has just been a damper on my mood. So when the sun is out, I just feel better. Like I have an extra pep in my step. And so I need sunshine, and I wish I could just relocate to somewhere where there's sun all the time. But one day, one day. But that's something. Create a happy list. So, and then again, you can pull from that list and start to incorporate some of those things in your day to day. So I did a poll on Instagram and I asked some ladies to share with me what are some of the things that they do or what do they have in their toolkit. And so I am going to share that with you just to give you some more ideas on some things that you can add in your toolkit. And so let's see here. So Brittany says that she burns sage, she steps away from whatever is stressing her out, and she calls a friend. So those are some of the things that she has in her toolkit that whenever she's in that space, these are some of the things that she does. And I love how she says she burns sage because that's something that I do as well. Ola says that she meditates. She listens to Beyonce's School and Life, which I love that song and I love Beyonce. She likes to color. She breathes. She takes a walk. She journals. She writes down gratitude, makes a gratitude list. She prays, sing, dance, and sleep. So that is some of the things that Ola has in her toolkit. And then let's see here. Jeanette says that she likes to get outside of the house. She likes to journal, read scripture, take a nap, listen to music, and call a friend to hang out. So those are just a few things that some of the ladies shared with me on Instagram, what they have in their toolkit to get themselves back into a positive headspace. My accountability partner, Monique, she shared with me that she loves to go to the beach. She loves to go to the gym, and then she loves to go to some of her favorite restaurants. So I like how we all have a different mix of things that we put in our toolkit so that we know what we need to pull on when it's time to get ourselves back into that positive space. So as I mentioned, I created a printable free worksheet for you. So your action step for this week is to print the worksheet, and you're going to find it in the show notes, and then make a list, whether you take examples from what was shared today or you come up with your own list, but make a list of things that you will put in your toolkit so that you have something to go to when you get into a space that you know you shouldn't be in, right? Because the goal is to keep you with a positive mindset, to keep the negative energy away. And obviously it's going to come. It comes for all of us, but we do need to have practical things that we can do so that we don't get so far in that negative space or get in a funk and it's hard to get out of it. So I hope this information that was shared today was helpful. And then what I want you to do is, if this podcast was inspiring to you, share it in Instagram stories. So snap a picture of it and share it in Instagram stories. Make sure you tag me. Send the link to this podcast to your friends. Share it on Facebook or Twitter. Take the podcast link and share it. My goal is to continue to get more and more listeners, of course. So you guys, as my community, I need your help with helping me get the word out. Of course, make sure that you're subscribed. Make sure that you're rating and leaving a comment, because all of that stuff helps without iTunes and all that jazz. So thank you so much for tuning in. I really have fun recording this because I know it was a good conversation that I had with my friend. And then I'm like, I know this can be helpful for someone else. So I want to know what you think. So when you print out your worksheet and you make your list, I want you to tag me at BeFree Project and use hashtag GirlBeFree and let me see what you put on your list. I can't wait to check it out because you can totally give me more ideas on what I can add to my toolkit. So as always, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, girl, be free. Thank you so much for listening. Your support means the world to me. Don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss an episode. And if you're feeling really fancy, go ahead and leave a review. Until next time, be free and live.